Where's my headset at? Description. As hate Earth turns. Alright, let's see what we're talking about today. Any hate speech is right, trying to ban hate speech again. Alright, let's try to ban hate speech. Alright, get that going. Go to my page. Did I get a memory today? Nope, no Facebook memory. YouTube comments. Right there. Where's Facebook? Now I gotta share the video. Appreciate y'all sharing the video on a Mushroom Friday. Oh yeah. There you go. Oh yeah. Pristine. Freedom Friday. Mars Mushroom Friday. There's not mushrooms on Mars. Let me share this out here. And while they're finding mushrooms on Mars, they want to ban hate speech again. That was a good little discussion about it. I didn't listen to the whole thing. You can listen to the whole thing if y'all want. I'm just against the concept. I say it every single day. I don't care if you like me. I don't really care. Like, I swear, there's this racist lady in my life. Love her to death. I love her to death. But old people supposed to be that way. You just love them. You gotta stop with the everybody has to love me stuff. Everybody has to like me. No, you gotta love everybody. You don't have to like everybody. Martin Luther King said, I'm so glad Jesus said, you gotta love everybody. You have to like everybody. You don't have to like everybody. Everybody didn't have to like you. Just like we need to let this go. We live on hate Earth. We live on hate Earth, and I find it silly that people who vote in elections to murder people and steal their land and country. That's kind of hate-ish, isn't it? A little hate-ish. All right, is YouTube going? But I already say something to offend Google. God, the Google gods. I meant something going. Son was telling me about but I said that's not his voice. You got people like that. There's something called, what's it called? Social media struggle. Social media. Something when you get tired. I forgot the word. YouTube something. People get tired of doing a video every day. I would call it like office work. I forgot, grind. It's called YouTube grind. It's called a YouTube grind. I guess where people getting tired of doing YouTube videos. Like, hey, you ever get tired? Yeah, because people who do videos every day, they get this YouTube grind thing. They get tired. They can't do it no more. That's like, that's people who actually make content, son. That's people, that's people who actually try to further discussion along a mainstream topic. I don't. I literally press the button, my friends show up, and we just laugh at what everybody takes seriously. We just find the hypocrisy, and it's like, there's no ends to that, son. I don't have YouTube grind at all. I don't know what that is. I damn sure got corporate America grind. I got working in the office for big corporation grind. Got sitting in traffic, trying to pay the bill grind. Yeah, I got that kind of grind, but like sitting here and laughing at like adults acting like children. Oh no. That doesn't get old. I get tired, and some days I'm just like, come on, man, can't we just grow up? I'm like, doesn't it get old after a while? If it gets old, like watching people act like grown people in their 60s acting like they're 6, if that doesn't, if you get tired of watching them, shouldn't they actually get tired of like running around fussing in the earth like it's a daycare? We live on hate Earth. Too many people dying for you to fight hate speech. Damn it, they found mushrooms on Mars. Can we focus on the mushrooms on Mars? Like, shouldn't that be like an indicator that greater things should be happening in our lives than trying to steal somebody else's oil and fighting somebody else that doesn't like you? So I'm gonna tell you about this. I think she kind of racist. I don't know, because it's too hard to tell. You can't really diagnose racism. You don't have like a litmus test. I say, excuse me, young lady, excuse me. Open your mouth. Let me put this in there. It's right here like a pregnancy test. There you go. Oh, you're a racist. Yep. I don't know. People don't like me. I don't care. Like, why does it matter? Why somebody? Because she doesn't like me. I know this lady. She don't like me at all. I don't like me at all. And I can sit here because I was raised in the Washington, D.C. area, and the first answer for everything is racism. It may not be that. It might just be because I'm cheap. It might just because I'm frugal. I like to fix things. It might just because I drive an old truck. It might just because I don't wear Doc Martens. Are Doc Martens expensive shoes? I don't know if they are Gators or something like that. Maybe because I don't wear expensive watches. Maybe people just don't like it. Maybe she don't like my mustache. Maybe she don't like me because I got gray. Maybe a bald man abused her once. People don't like you for all kind of reasons. But we always default to racism. I don't get it personally. How's everybody doing this morning? I don't want to talk about racism, unfortunately. They're talking about banning it again. So I think now, was it Facebook, YouTube, Google, Instagram? I don't know. All of them, they can't. Then they're going to ban the hate speech. We're going to get rid of the white nationalists. I'm like, okay. You're get rid of the night again? You're going to get rid of them again? Do you know which ones are? Do you have a litmus test? And to me, I think banning's like censoring people. It's just, they find out whoever is unpopular at the time and they abuse them and they oppress them. And unfortunately, right now, love y'all to death, white nationalists, white supremacist people, but I guess they're gonna come after you, you know. And it's how it goes: the oppressor and the oppressed, the oppressor and oppressed. Because like at a point in time, the minorities were unpopular, so they wrote all them laws called Jim Crow, where they censored them. Martin Luther King said, "Hey, this is a bad idea. Let's just all get along. Let's stop fighting. Just ignore skin color, y'all. Let's just all grow up for a minute." And we refuse to grow up. Anyway, how's everybody doing? There's mushrooms on Mars. I tell you, it's mushrooms on mushrooms. They done found Mars, life on Mars again. They're gonna find water on Mars again next week. It's just the same regular thing. We're not alone in the universe. Speaking of that, Sister Maureen sent me a UFO video. I kind of want to look at the UFO video. I want to look at it and see if I can see USS Air Force. Or what is the British Air Force? What do y'all call it? Y'all still not the Luftwaffe. What do y'all call it? I want to see if the label's on the side of that. I kind of want to look at fun stuff like that because it's fun and it's interesting and it's the real world and it's all about the future as opposed to fighting the past. These damn stupid fights have been going on for hundreds of years. Anyway, how y'all doing this morning? Everybody doing good? Hey, Bofon is in the house and Deborah, Anna. Good morning, Cheryl. Good rising, good Friday, brother Daniel. Kelly Thornton is in the house. Hemp Expo this week. Gonna save the world with some hemp. Mary's in the house. Rebecca. All right, good morning, good morning. I don't want to lick everybody. Oh, Bofont, what you shouldn't want to lick nobody. You haven't seen these bodies? These people nasty. You don't want to. Oh, you trying to strengthen your immune system? Oh, speaking of that, did y'all see Del Bigotry's video yesterday? Man, I was so blessed by that. Apparently, one of the pro-vaccine guys was on Joe Rogan. Did y'all see that? You need to watch it. You need to watch it. It's actually quite good. It was quite good. I can't say much on it because apparently now vaccines are safe and effective. That's all you can say on social media. So I can't really say nothing about it. I'm just going to say watch it. Watch it. Joe, it was artistic what he did. He brought the guy on and he was prepared, had his bow tie and everything, man. The dude showed up. I'm going to Poindexter you. I'm going to tell you about how vaccines are and everybody should get all of them. And then he proceeded to go, and I think he was actually set up personally. I think he was set up because there actually is no discussion anymore. There really is no debate. Not to me. No debate. There really is no debate whether or not you get to stick your chemicals in me. There's no debate. The man called at one point in time, he called vaccines, he said they're all natural. They're all natural? He said just water, some saline, and some antigens. That's all it is. It's all natural. I was like, yeah, are you really trying to debate if vaccines are holistic and organic USDA certified? Really? Really? So anyway, I think it's over. I think Joe set him up. I think Joe went on there just asking. He's a bright dude. Y'all say he's controlled opposition and a gatekeeper. I don't think that. I think Joe is just a guy with a big channel that became very popular, and he must navigate this mainstream thing. If he violates the mainstream lies too much, they'll shut him off. They'll shut all that stuff down tomorrow. So I think he navigates it. He asks probing questions, and he won't answer the question. He'll make a face and let you figure it out. So you saw it. I think Joe, who I kind of struggled with his position on vaccines because he said some things that bothered me. But by the end of the show, he had that little smile on his face. He'd ask the questions and the guy would answer the questions. And then he got him on junk food. At the end of it, the guy was talking about how he loved junk food and he eats gummy bears and Twinkies and goes to the Shake Shack and everything. And he's like, what did Joe ask him? He said, are you the really right person to talk about people's health? You're a junk food junkie. The guy was getting all excited like he was on a sugar high. It was anyway, I won't go into it. It was great. Y'all should watch it. I can't talk about it too much because then I'll start saying I can't keep my 20 or so viewers. They shut it down to 5, 2, 3. Because you can't talk about vaccines anymore. They're safe and effective. Although they hadn't been here familiar. They weren't here since the mushrooms been here. Since the Martian mushrooms been here. That's what I want to go into. Anyway, good morning. Yes, Anna, it is a daycare. It is ridiculous. I don't want to grow up. Stacy, don't grow up. We don't have to grow up. You just have to mature. Because you can be mature and not grown up. Like, you don't have to. Well, what is grown up anyway? What does that word even mean? You can be mature and not be grown up. Like, you can focus on priorities and still have fun. I don't think being grown up doesn't mean you don't have fun. I think being grown up means that you can prioritize things in life. You can say, murder countries, high priority. This is bad. We should not be doing this because when this happens, we kill a lot of people. A lot of kids get raped and killed and bombed and buried under rubble. And hate crime is nowhere near this level. While this is happening in mass on every continent, everywhere on hate earth, we are not talking about hate speech. Hate speech is like it's not even on the screen. It's like way down here somewhere. That's where hate speech is, way down. You know, it's not that people don't get killed with hate speech and whatever happens afterwards. It's just that if we're continuing to vote for those who are making Earth hate Earth, as a mature, young, old person, you can prioritize this needs to be what we saw first. Yeah, the other stuff is way down there. And the funny thing is, like we talked about yesterday, if we actually work together to solve it, all that other stuff down there tends to go away. Because when you start working with other people on that side, people start tapping into their humanity, it goes away. Anyway, how y'all doing this morning? So I'd love to look at the UFO video if I don't scare y'all. I'd love to look at Martian mushrooms. And there was a good discussion on that whole banning of hate speech. Because we're going to say goodbye to the white nationalists. Bye-bye, y'all. See y'all. But I think the black nationalists, y'all can stay. And the Hispanic nationalists, y'all can stay. The Asian supremacists, y'all can stay. Everybody else can stay. But the white nationalists, y'all just, I guess you're bad. I don't know. I don't know what happened. You're unpopular right now. You're unpopular at this point in time. Not unpopular with me. I appreciate your posts. I do. I just ignore that you don't like me or you don't like skin color or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going. No, Stacy, they will not find trash on Mars. Nope, not gonna do it. All they're gonna find is they found the mushrooms. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Lily. Good morning, Eileen. What kind of truck? A very old Ford truck that I fixed, Kelly. Good morning, brother Michael. Ivana, mushrooms. Tell us more. Looks like some kind of crystals. Yeah, let's take a look at the mushrooms. Let's go into the mushrooms. Ivana, get me on some weird topics. Let's go into it. Where's the mushroom video? Oh, dang it. I had the UFO queued up. We'll go to some. Let's see the UFO first. Then we'll do the mushroom. You see up here? Because I like to look at them. Because when you like look at this stuff for a while, after a while, not that you can spot a fake, but you kind of things like, that don't look right. I don't know. I don't know if aliens would do that. All right, let me do this. What is this right here? That's a commercial. Let me get past the commercial. I don't want y'all to see that. I don't know what that is. And this was, who was this? This was on Project Camelot. So I can't show the whole thing, but I will certainly show you the UFO portion and put the links that you guys can go watch the whole thing yourself. You tell me what you think it is.
Of a UFO that's donut shaped It does seem to have an empty center. It happened in the last 2 days. I think that would be the 25th, maybe over the weekend, and then Monday the 25th. So that's when we got hold of it. And it is also on the screen with what appears to be a tree in the foreground. And we also have an object that appears to be possibly the sun, but I don't think it can be the sun. So it could be a reflection of something somewhere in the sky. It might be another UFO. It might be a much...
See, all right, that's how I'm gonna show it. I have no idea. I don't. I have no idea on this one. Because it doesn't... It's weird because it's a circle shape. It reminds me of what Ezekiel talked about with the rings and the fire, but ain't no fire. It's kind of just hanging out there and like spinning around. That kind of makes me think that it's like not from here, not from the planet or dimension. Because if we were on it, right? If America, we want to be level, like we respect gravity, our feet go this way, head go this way, and we like to stay level. And it looks like it's kind of spinning around, like the gyro isn't working on it or whatever, and it's just kind of doing that. We ain't doing that. We ain't, no, because we don't do that. Because if we eat okra and stuff, we ain't doing none of this. If you imagine if you had a bunch of Americans on like a big United States Air Force circle ship and it was doing something like this, man, it would be like regurgitated okra, just it hit the wall, hit the window, to the ceiling, to the wall. So I kind of do think that that's something creepy. I don't know what it is. It could be a drone. It could be a drone. I don't know. It's kind of just, but it's funky. I don't think in the public domain we got drones that can kind of just do that thing like that. I think it might be. I think that might be a UFO, yo. I think that might actually be us from the future coming back. But no, probably not even us from the future coming back, because we still want to like maintain some equilibrium. But who knows? I thought that was interesting. What was that? Project Camelot. I'll post the link. Y'all can go back and watch it. Let's get on to the mushrooms. I like looking at the UFOs. I might actually do that at one point. I just like sit there and look at the UFO, try to figure out if it's real or not, if it's fake. It's easy to fake things, and I'm not like one of those people that look at something, oh, it's fake, everything's fake. Because it's like fake is a religion. Like to me, it's like you have like a blind following of people who just look at everything. It's like everything's like, no, that's not real. And I'm not one of those people. I know that I'm not alone. I'm only alone in my own little head. That's the only place. And I got a lot of my friends in there. Most
whoa, hoagies.
Whoa, what is that? Here we go. Let's look at Mars. Mushrooms. People are like, this is weird. What is he talking about? Just if you're new, just let you know. No, I don't think that you're the only creature in the universe. I just want to let y'all know that. I don't believe that. I think that we're only alone in our own little beady little heads. That's the only place we're alone. I think we're highly uninteresting to us out there. But no, I don't think we're alone. I think that's significantly more important than anything you got to say in politics. I absolutely do. I think that's the only thing that'll bring people together. I agree with Reagan that if we had an external threat that somehow scared everybody, that y'all wouldn't act like children, that we'd all grow up and be like, let's work together, aliens come, we need to work together. And that's what I think. Check this out.
Discovery from the Red Planet. Images from NASA's Curiosity rover has actually shown pictures of mushrooms and other fungi on Mars. Mushrooms are life, by the way. Critics in the scientific community, they're not yet convinced. Here's RT's Trinity Chavez with the story.
We may have an answer to the age-old question of if there's life on Mars or not. A group of scientists claim they have found proof that there is, in fact, life on the Red Planet.
Liftoff of the Atlas V with Curiosity, seeking clues to the planetary puzzle about life on Mars.
NASA's rovers Curiosity and Opportunity may have captured evidence of life beyond our planet. In the report titled Evidence of Life on Mars, a team of scientists say that they have seen what appear to be algae, lichens, and Martian mushrooms in images taken by the rovers. The researchers cite 15 images of fungi growing out of the ground in just 3 days as evidence that life forms exist on the supposedly barren planet. The study's co-author said there are no geological or other abiogenic forces on Earth which can produce sedimentary structures by the hundreds, which have mushroom shapes, stems, stalks, and shed what looks like spores on the surrounding surface. 6 independent scientists and 8 senior editors reviewed the study, and while 3 of them rejected the evidence completely, the remaining 11 recommended publication after some revisions. And while the report cited previous studies that suggest a variety of species, including bacteria, algae, fungi, and lichens, can survive a simulated Mars-like environment, other academics have said that the specimens are probably hematite, which are a form of iron oxide. Now, the researchers do point out that NASA has not yet confirmed or denied their findings, but a spokesperson for the agency told me that while NASA has yet to find any signs of extraterrestrial life, including what's presented in this report, the agency is committed to exploring the solar system and beyond to help us answer fundamental questions, including whether we are alone in the universe or not. Reporting in New York, Trinity Chavez, RT.
Sanchez, you
Martian mushrooms. All right, well, don't eat them though. Don't eat them. Don't eat them. My flat earth is here, brother David. No, hold on, wait. Let's be clear who I am. Let's be clear who I am. I don't know a damn thing, David. I don't know a damn thing. I'm not promoting lies because I don't believe in flat earth. I just grew up in a family. My father was a satellite engineer. I grew up in a family where I knew a lot of people who worked in NASA. Donna Hare is one of them. So, you know, everyone's experience is different. I've never been to space, and it's possible my father lied to me. It's possible all his friends lied to me. It's possible Donna Hare is lying. It's possible thousands. It's very possible. Right? We lied about Santa Claus. We can hold up a lie across the board. But I don't believe the Earth is flat now. Unfortunately, I saw a little too much as a kid, and I don't believe the Earth is flat. But I'm not anti-Earth is flatism. Let's be clear. I'm not anti-anything-ism. We're always lied to. So I get the whole flat Earth thing. We have a government that can't tell the damn truth ever. And my position on flat Earth, like everything else, they're always lying to us. Let's just get together and say, let's know the truth. And plus, there's something coming up for flat Earth anyway, isn't there? Like, isn't there a cruise, a flat Earth cruise or something that's coming up where they're gonna go around the Earth with the flat, a bunch of prominent people from flat Earth on a cruise or something to try to prove whether it is or not? That's coming up. So let's hold out and wait for that and see what that happens with that. But I do think that those are mushrooms on Mars. They're not the first trees they found on Mars, not the first bushes. They're always lying because they want us to focus on fighting hate speech. They want us to keep us fighting the racism. They want to keep us fighting to steal Venezuela's oil to free the Venezuelans. That's what I think. Good morning. Friday comes too quick when you're retired. It comes too quick when you're retired. Friday can't come quick enough when you're slaving away, Brother Augustine. Good morning, Crystal. Good morning, Sheepless in Seattle. Uh-oh, message retracted. I don't know what that means. Adrian, I don't know what you posted. They didn't like it. I just watched a V formation of birds flying through a lightning storm. Pretty awesome. Hopefully you took a picture, Heaven. That would be an awesome thing to think. That would be amazing. Friend coming to watch later. Oh, good old thing. Good morning, Christine. Good morning, Kimberly. We are the aliens. Stacy, we are the aliens. There are no aliens. No, right. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as aliens. All you have is life all over this universe, and it's just spreading. And as the universe expands or whatever it's doing, life is everywhere. The Native Americans aren't aliens. The Africans weren't aliens. The Germans weren't aliens to the British. There are no aliens. It's another tribe. They look different. They got funny eyes. They got funny lips. They got different ears and noses, and their hair grow funny. But there are no aliens. We are just all life forms that spread everywhere. There's life everywhere. Just how it works. Let me see. Yeah, man, they promote lies. No life on Mars. Mars on flat Earth. Star footage is a transparent celestial being. I have to disagree, brother. I have to disagree on that, brother. I don't agree. Unfortunately, like I said, I met a lot of the savants and the mathematicians that actually were sending the satellites up and doing the optics at work with my father at the Pentagon. And I don't think they all got together and lied. Now they're going to start pushing shrooms, Martian mushrooms. I've heard it all. If shrooms are there, other things are. Of course, Dan. tons, there's life all over Mars. In my belief, like Brother Davis, I got mine. Based on everything I'm exposed to, there's life all over, everywhere. Life's in lava. We got silicone-based life. We have, what is the other, silica-based life where it's and what's the one they found in California? I forgot. But anyway, life is everywhere. Life lives in nuclear power plants. So life always finds a way. Life at the bottom of the ocean. This is a simulation. Anyone can post a faux picture in any news. I believe that is to be true as well, Stacy. But I think our word for simulation, we play around with it, like how our eyes simulate our environment. Our eyes actually simulate what they see. Your brain takes in the light and it tries to figure out what the heck it's seeing, and it's really seeing a lot of photons and neutrons and energy and fields, and it creates colors and stuff because there's no real matter. And so everything's a simulation, from our eyes to the planet we're on to the governments we're under, politics. Everything is a simulation. The news media, everything in a way, they're always simulating something. They're growing drugs up there. You know what, Cheryl? I'd say they have to be. If they're down here, if plants that have medicinal properties are up there and psychedelic properties, then they got to be down here. All right, let me see. I think we need a reality TV show with a group of flat earthers finding the edge of it. Well, that's what they're doing, Melissa. That's what they're doing. Maybe Brother David, you know about it. They do. There's because it's the cruise. They finally have a cruise where they're all going to go around and put an end to this. And I don't know how it's going to turn out. I want to know the end to it, though. That's what I'm going to say. Because I ain't never been to space. I'd love to see that, how that, but it's supposed, because I think they're going to live stream, because I forgot who the flat earther who said it. David, you can help me, but he was saying he wanted to do it with an airplane, right? Where he wanted to get in an airplane or a boat and go around Antarctica and kind of prove it out. I want to see that proved out live on TV. I absolutely do. Absolutely do. I just don't understand why it matters if it's flat or round. We still have to live on it either way. Right, Stacy, and that's kind of my point, right? Like, we can fight about silly stuff, or we can prioritize. Let's keep the priority at the top. Because whether it's hate speech or racism and poverty that creates it, and the Federal Reserve, or aliens and NASA lying, or CIA and FBI invading, everything at the top, if you keep your priorities like don't murder people, don't kill people, don't invade nations, and the people who are doing that can't have any more secrets, governments can't have any secrets at all, big corporations can't have any secrets at all because they're now playing with technologies that can end life for everything. If we have no secrecy, then all that stuff on the bottom gets resolved. You realize they starve people into white nationalism. They starve people into black nationalism. They lie about what they find on the moon and Mars and everywhere else, assuming that they go there. If it's a projection, they got the projector running, they're projecting the moon. If there are no secrets, then we reduce the amount of simulations we're in. Think about that. Think about that, because there's always multiple matrices and multiple levels to different matrices that we're in. And the less secrets any kings and lords and the powerful people above us have, those farming the human race, then we get to know everything. Then we can actually solve real problems when there are no secrets. So I'm a big believer in no secrets. Big believer. Look round. Earth was established long before this country existed. Absolutely. Which I believe in natural law, Kelly. I believe in natural law. We support ecosystems. Let's not get too caught up in the isms. Flat Earth-ism or round Earth-ism. It just is a thing. If you're in one of those clubs, and all right, I'm not in any club. I kind of think the Earth might be a donut. I'm kind of on trapezoid Earth. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't believe anything. I don't believe anything kings and lords tell me at all. Cockroaches live in a nuclear power plant. Exactly, Paul, and that's my point. Life always finds a way. Always. At the bottom of the ocean, where there can't be anything at the bottom of the ocean. It's just impossible. The pressures are too deep, and then you find fish and jellyfish and whales and sharks and crabs and spiders. They're finding everything. Worms, everything figures out. Life always finds a way. And that's the phenomenal thing about multicellular organisms, epigenetics, and this thing that I like to call God. There's always something that drives them. And maybe God's in another dimension in the multiverse or something driving life. But it always finds a way. You know, but we always like to pretend we're the only intelligent life. Everything else is a pagan. Everything else is an alien. Everything else isn't human. My father was an engineer who worked for a company that worked for NASA. I don't think he was a liar. And that's my point, Eileen. They might have worked together. Who knows? Mine was at the Pentagon, though. This guy here now has a green cast, sign of hail. Yeah, I think it's about to rain here too, Heaven. I don't know where you at, but it's looking nasty outside. I'm gonna know the end of Oak Island too. Yes, both fight. Man, oh man, brother, we, you know, listen, you and I, we're gonna fight about this ochre nonsense, but we agree on flat Earth. We agree on, I think I'm behind an episode. I think I missed this week's episode. But you know what I kind of think? I think when they get to that bottom of that hole, I think they're discovering, because they're going too deep. They found stuff from the Templars, they found stuff from the Romans, they found stuff from the Vikings, and they keep going deep, and now they found more oak, like, because they had the oak barriers in like, what, 150 feet in the earth. They're finding these oak barriers and somebody buried them, and they're finding paper and they're finding leather. You know, I think we're gonna find out. I think they're just on the cusp of just releasing to people how old the human race is. I think we've been here for a very long time. And I think Oak Island is actually demonstrating to us how long we've been here. And I think they're getting down into layers, into some significant site that some ancient humans that maybe knew Thoth, maybe they knew the Mayans, maybe they were pre-Mayan or pre-Aztec, whatever it is. And so I love it. I want to see the end of it. I don't think we will. I think if they find something significant, they won't show us anyway, but it's a good indicator. It's a good thing for people to see that we really don't know what's true. And mainstream everything is corrupt. Mainstream archaeology, mainstream religion, mainstream vaccines, mainstream war for freedom. War was it? They're making peace by starting wars. I think all the mainstream across the board is pretty corrupt because it's just how they can control us. They create these narratives and these simulations. They put people in them and people believe it. And that's how they control the world on lies. It matters because we have to live with these people if we want to or not. And and that's why we have to look at the news, Bofan, and kind of look around and see what's happening because they're caught in different simulations and different matrices. I think we're constantly trying to pull people out of the matrix. Like, I'm in my own matrices, you're in your own matrices, we're all in these bigger matrices, and I might be in a matrix of, I don't know, Air Aspirin, Big Pharma. Like, I believe it in you, but you've done a little more study there. You can pull me out. But I pull you out of the whole way. Aliens don't exist. We're the only life in the whole galaxy. We're the only intelligent thing. We're self-important. And maybe I can pull you out of that. So I think we live life, and you have to look around and talk to people because we can constantly pull each other out of the matrices we get lost in. Nikki's late. Yep, they found mushrooms on Mars. They found life on Mars again. They keep finding it on Mars, but people keep want to fight over Earth. They still want to fight about Earth, but there's stuff all over. We are energy and vibration. Everything has energy or chi. It does, Sandra. It does, and I think that's far more important than anything you'll ever see on the news. These are bacteria discovered that eat nuclear waste. Right, exactly, Margaret. Like even the bacteria that eat the plastic. They found bacteria in the ocean that eats the plastic. I think they found a mushroom now that eats plastic. And it's crazy. But this is how life works. You know, life is always solving problems. Bacteria is always solving problems. We're just problem-solving creatures, and we're like these little electron spiritual creatures inside of these bodies that are made of multicellular organisms that are just constantly, or single-cellular organisms that are constantly stitching together multicellular and figuring things out. When plastic became too prolific on the planet, that plastic-eating bacteria and that mushroom, that gene that was turned off, boop, turned right back on like, tiny piece of plastic, started eating. Like some people got okra genes, right? It's like, damn, it's okra. The only damn thing in the grocery store is okra. Then my gene might get turned on. Ain't nothing else to eat. Ain't no apples, no oranges, no broccoli, nothing delicious, no leafy greens or nothing. The only thing in the grocery store is okra. You know, eventually what my body will do, it'll flip that switch and say, the only prolific thing is here is okra. I gotta consume energy or I'll die. So it'll flip that. It'll flip my gene for okra to tolerate the nastiness and the slimy gooey and the bad feeling in my belly, and I'll eat it. That's what life does. Life always finds a way. Always. Absolutely agree. Always finds a way. I don't know if I got the okra gene though. They found, yeah, right. They found a lead cross, another piece that was both mined in southern France before the 1500s. Oak Island, right? The cross, but then they found another piece in the last one I saw that they think is related to that cross. You know, and that's why, and it's a cross, and the little hint, right? People avoid religion and other people avoid science, and it's like, no, you just put all these things together and you start to stitch together what the real world actually looked like before we got here. I think everyone gave testimonies and everybody was probably wrong in their testimonies. That's why I don't convince anybody. I know what God is, and I know damn sure you don't know. Nobody knows. God might be a multicellular, fungi, multi-dimensional human from the future. We have no idea. But if it actually created life or drives life on this planet, whatever it is, doesn't make it any less omnipotent. It still know a hell of a lot more than me. There's no separation between technology, a God, and us, right? In terms of if they are so advanced in technology, a God race, and they're creating life all on all over the universe on all these different planets and colonies. Yeah, to me, that it still fits. Still fits. Just focus on the message. Focus on those 10 commandments. Focus on don't kill people, don't rob people, don't steal from people. Isn't there a commandment said don't vote? I think it's a commandment said don't vote for killers. Don't support those things. Don't support rapers. Don't support any of it. I have a friend who's a microbiologist. She worked on a Superfund site using microbes, eat the toxins. Exactly, Kimberly. All right, let me move down. I'm way down in comments. All right, we can get over to the hate speech. Man, and hate speech, because we're not say goodbye to our white nationalist friends. But we got to keep the black nationalist friends. All right. Let me see. What is the OC? This okra talk. Trying to keep the okra maniacs happy. Well, no, Nora, they won't leave me alone. They just keep plaguing me. I drank a damn okra smoothie, Nora, and they won't leave me alone. So every now and then I see something like, nah, you're not gonna get me. There's no. I think one day, Nora, they think that I'm gonna like lean towards it, be like, you know, okra ain't too bad. That's just not gonna give up on me. Give up. I know, just give up. Give up on me in that okra. Just give up. My mama had the gene, she liked it. I do not have that gene. Give up. All right, let's go to the white nationalist debate, because they're about to kick them off of social media. And that's bad, because when people don't have voices, they turn to violence. They turn to other ways of being heard, which is the great thing about leaving people alone and letting them express their outrage and their angst.
Welcome back. Facebook and Instagram are announcing an expansion of their ban on white supremacist activity on their platforms, saying in a statement, quote, "We're announcing a ban on praise, support, and representation of white nationalism and separatism on Facebook and Instagram, which we will start enforcing next week. It's clear that these concepts are deeply linked to organized hate crimes, hate groups, and have no place on our services." These steps mark the most significant and direct actions taken to combat the spreading of hate and racist ideology on a social media platform to date. Joining me to discuss this further is conservative radio host Steve Malzberg and Dee Watkins, editor-at-large for Salon Magazine. Thank you both for joining me. I want to start with you, Steve. The first question we should get into is this the right step? I mean, in the wake of New Zealand and other recent attacks, the spotlight has again been put on the growing threat of white nationalist terrorism. Many have said for years that social media has taken a passive role in combating this threat online. So is this the right step? Is this them finally stepping up to the plate and doing the right thing?
Well, yeah, here's the funny thing. You could ask what's taken so long. And Facebook will say that it really didn't have anything to do with the shooting in the mosque in New Zealand, even though the Prime Minister of New Zealand blames social media. They say that they've been dealing and studying this for 3 months with quote-unquote members of civil society and academics. And they found that white nationalists, that you couldn't separate them from white supremacists. And so therefore they're instituting this. But here again, and again, I denounce white supremacists and all that kind of stuff. This isn't about that. This is about what should be allowed on this platform. And, you know, if you have, and I'm not comparing because there's no violence, but if you have calls for, on campus, groups to live separately based on race, and if you have other groups being able to put forth, propaganda or information about separatism and separate things for separate races and separate groups, then how do you justify this? Because there was a shooting? I'm just afraid that these members of civil society and academics are a bunch of leftists. And look, they consider Breitbart to be a white supremacist nationalist group. I mean, are they going to ban Breitbart from Facebook?
Hey,
that could happen too. And
I want D to respond to that question now.
Hang on. I want to respond. I didn't respond. I got my finger on the button. I can respond anytime I want. So so I agree with what somebody else just said. Who just said that? Somebody said, well, how are they going to identify? Both fine. Problem is, how do you identify a white nationalist? So the key, and I think you know this too, is that this isn't about white nationalism. It has absolutely nothing to do with white nationalism or white supremacy. It's just censorship, right? Like they take something emotional that the people are triggered by, and they use it for the state as a means to gain power, or they use it for a corporation as a means to gain power. So they'll define anything they can as white nationalism or white supremacy, anything they want to shut up. Like Brother Kelly said, or pro-Zionism or anti-Zionism, whatever it may be, they'll figure out a way to kind of tuck it in there. The same way they did with the Patriot Act and religions. Like they'll find a way to tuck it in because it has nothing to do with white nationalism. It has nothing to do with hate speech. That's just the emotional, whiny thing of the time, right? It's okay to kill 85,000 children in Yemen and starving them to death, but it's not okay to say to go and shoot one person somewhere or beat somebody up because of their skin color or whatever. That's more of a problem than killing 85,000 children. But it's just a game. They play this game. So they're banning everything pro-Zionism. I have, go on, Kelly, I see what you're saying. Right, and no, I know. Technically that wouldn't be, right? Because IPAC is always running all the politicians, most of the politicians in Washington. So no, that's not hate. That's beating up Jews in the IPAC Zionist folks beating up Jews in the street in Israel. That's not really white hate nationalism. I don't know, it's confusing. I don't even know where I'm going with that. But they are, unfortunately, the Zionists, they are a hate group, and they hate the Palestinians to a degree where they will shoot their children with high-powered assault rifles. But they're not going after them. They're not going to do that. This is just about more of controlling Americans. The same way the Article 13 is going to be used in Europe. White nationalists just defaced the DNC headquarters in Oklahoma City this week. And that could be a driver to it too. Heaven, I don't know. I really didn't. I only pay attention to some of it. To me, it's just not important. It's not important. We got big problems and we got little problems. And the media seems to always focus us on the little problems. And that's actually used to cause all these problems. Like, why is there censorship prolific right now on social media? It's because Russia did it. Everybody knew that. Russia did it. Russia did it. And so they clamped down on social media. They had all the hearings. They brought in Twitter and Facebook and Google, just a good reminder in the history. And now we got censorship prolific across the media. And so now it ain't about Russia no more, because now they're admitting that, well, with the Mueller investigation ended, Russia ain't had nothing to do with none of it. Nil, none, no collusion, nothing, just not a drop. Americans were sick of the establishment and they voted for Trump. That's what happened. Whether you like it or not, they're just sick of y'all. They're poor, they're starving, they're hungry. I don't think they thought Trump was a great savior or anything. Some people thought that. I think most people were just like, you know what? Not you. That's all I'm saying. I don't care what it is. I think if they ran a homeless man, they'd vote for him too, who's blind, crippled, crazy, stupid, whatever. They put anybody in. And I get that. I understand that. I don't think Trump was the right pick, but I get that. It was just not them. But that's why all this censorship is here. And so they're just taking the next step. They can't keep saying Russia's doing it, so we need to keep censoring for Russia. So now they're going to censor for white nationalists. And I don't know the difference. What's the difference between white nationalism and white supremacy? I have no idea. I just know it's people, they got some feelings, they have some experiences in life, and they're expressing them. And as long as they express it peacefully, I think you should leave them alone. That's what I think. Why? Because I grew up with Africa Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation and Fear of a Black Planet and all that, all that hip hop music that promoted, blacks taking over. And it's just, there's no difference. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. You're either a psychopathic or you're not. You're either okay with murdering, oppressing people, or you're not. And they come in every shape, color, size, and I'm fine with those people talking. We just don't put those people in power. That's what we should be doing. We shouldn't let those people model, our planet. And giving them credibility and supporting, shutting up white nationalism, it empowers the wrong people. My theory's proven again. It is, Kelly, because you pay attention. As long as you pay attention, then none of this is a surprise to you. It's the way it always goes. We're just slowly walking back to Nazi Germany in a way, because we are the Fourth Reich. They just came here. And then we got people clapping and cheering for it the same way that the Germans clapped and cheered, or the Nazis clapped and cheered for it over there. I prefer the danger of freedom over the certainty of enslavement. Folks can believe whatever they want to believe. Oh, goodness. Oh, I can't read all that. Believe whatever they want if I find it repulsive. Folks can join any group they want to join. Yes, even the KKK, even though I find their beliefs disgusting, folks can say whatever they want to say, despite that I find it despicable. Folks can do whatever they want as long as they do not force, do not use force or violence against me or another. I will fight for the right for all people to live as they choose, even when I find their beliefs and actions abhorrent. That is what freedom is. Absolutely. That sounds dangerous. Who said that? Rebecca? That sounds dangerous, like freedom and democracy. That sounds like real freedom and real democracy. Leave people alone, long as it's peaceful. Say whatever you want. I'm all for that, Rebecca. But you got that grown-upism. You got that grown-upism in you. And I'm fine with, I'm fine with people join the KKK too. Rebecca, the KKK, they march right down the street from my house every year to get together at the Valley Forge Park to get out there with the signs and the pamphlets and hand it out. And I used to be sitting at work, lay out the window like, oh, look at them, they're out there again. Okay, yep. And the other people that come up from Philadelphia and they yell, scream out, okay. Is it over? What time? About 2 o'clock? Yep, they're done. Okay, and everybody went home and that's the end of it. I really don't care about that because I listen to, I keep repeating his name anytime this silly topic comes up. Durrell, the blues singer, Durrell somebody, who went to the black, we all call him black, dark-skinned dude, played blues, he'd go hang out with the Klan, go to the meetings, figure out what's going on with him and everything. And he realized what happened. He said every time poverty strikes up in some poor town in America, it's being destroyed. The Klan shows up and they got to say, hey, listen, brother, I got your back. Black got the NAACP, the Hispanics got this, the Asians got that. Ain't nobody fighting for poor white folk. And you know what? And if I was a poor white folk in one of these poor white towns that the coal mine pulled out or whatever, Daryl Davis, somebody just posted, thank you, exactly. Y'all need to watch his videos. And they show up and they say, listen, ain't nobody fighting for you. I'll fight for you. And I'm gonna tell you, if I was a poor white dude or poor white woman in one of them towns and I'm single, I'm raising my kids and I can't buy shoes and send them on a field trip and I'm figuring out how to rob Peter to pay Paul, I can't make ends meet, whatever, and the Klan shows up, like, listen, we're not about racism and hate, we're not about violence. We're about just getting together and getting your jobs back. What you gonna do? I'm gonna do with a pen. With a pen. I'm gonna get that pen out and sign, listen. Because you know what? Because my number one job is being dad. My number one job is being a parent, taking care of my children. You show up and my government ain't doing no damn thing for me, but the Republicans, the Democrats, ain't nobody doing nothing for me. And my kids can't go on field trips and they're wearing the same shoes they've been wearing for 3 years with holes in them. Hell no, I'm signing that pen. Who is it? ISIS? Give me that pen. Who is that? Al Qaeda? Give me that pen. Who is that? The jerk? Give me the Nazis? Come on, I'm signing up. I'm signing because survival is the basis of it. This is why I say we got to get past this survival of the fittest type society where we let people starve, because people starving are capable of a hell of a lot more than peacefully joining the KKK just to get their job back. Right, and these people, they had black kids in the family. Like, watch Daryl Davis. This is why education is key. Do your research. Education is so key. I agree with you, sister. I agree with you. European Parliament is currently voting on social media censorship and what is classified as hate speech, a slippery slope. Right, and I think Germany already moved on that, didn't they, Ivana? And this is why I don't like the European Union. You should not. We are too easily guidable in big herds of cattle with tags on our ears. They can make one law and they can make it proliferate through all of Europe. No, we need Europe to be independent, individual. We need every nation to have its own voice. We need every town, city, council, group. Everybody need to have their own voice, and that's how we work together as a collective. But when they group us together like that, they can make one big mandate like Article 13 and pass it on to everybody else. And then they use and abuse European nations the same way they use and abuse Americans through artificial scarcity. It's the same models just rolled out all over the world. And that's what all these trade agreements are about, creating big trading blocks and using economics to control mass groups of people. This is what I'm saying. We're all being farmed. Nations are being farmed. Cities are being farmed. In America, we watch 50 states being farmed by the federal government. Why? Because everybody sells out when they're hungry. When those states are hungry, they'll sell out to the federal government. They'll give away everything they can to the Department of Education, to Monsanto, whoever's sending money to the big politicians, in the same way people do in poor white communities. So no, I'm not for banning hate speech at all. I want to hear it. Like I said, I think as an adult, you don't hide under the covers from things you don't like to see. You look at them and then you address them like an adult. You don't run away and hide like a little scared little kid anytime something comes up. When something comes up, you address it and you try to figure out what's going on. Well, why don't you like me? Well, I don't like you because I used to live next to Jeffro. He never cleaned up his yard. Oh, he didn't? Okay, let me take a picture of my yard. You want to see my yard? Look at my flowers. Look at this. Look at this. Look over here. Look, I got my sunflowers up. I got my pansies in. Check it out. Look, I got my lettuce growing over here. I got my tomatoes. Wait a minute. You donkeys, y'all growing food? I thought y'all live in the city. Y'all ain't never grown. I love to grow food, man. Shoot, my family from Arkansas. That's all we do is grow food, eat natural, organic. Shoot, I'm learning how to survive and everything and collect water. You learn how to collect water too? That's not what I seen on that TV. On that TV, y'all just like that jungle music. Y'all like to dance around with shake your butt and got the... Like, no, that's not happening. Listen, brother, let me tell you something. Let me sit you down. You got all kind of people. Skin color means nothing. It's all about where you were born and where you were raised. Race is not related to skin color. Race is a construct of rearing. It is more of a culture than anything else. I said, brother, listen, I grew up, and I'm just making up a whole story, y'all. It ain't never happened. Ain't none of this happened. I'm having like a fantasy conversation with the white nationalists. Like, listen, I grew up with young, poor white people, and guess what? And we had a wealthy black neighborhood. And so you had poor white people, wealthy black neighborhoods. So I saw the reverse of it. My best friend was one of those poor white folk. And that's why I kind of understand and I see it from that perspective that race has nothing to do with starving people. It's just about money. All right. Oh, we didn't finish the discussion. We was in discussion. I'm sorry. Let's go back to the discussion. People join like, oh, we watching this. No, it's just him running his mouth. It's him reading comments, running his mouth.
On to respond to your remarks. Steve, what do you have to say?
Yeah, the problem is, or I guess for white supremacists, this is a great opportunity for them to start to build their own platforms because, you know, I don't think deplatforming them is going to stop like the racist and the hateful rhetoric that they want to spread throughout the airwaves. It may hurt them in trying to create new people who might not have been as open to those ideas. You know, it's crazy how we look at social media and we try to compare it to journalism. A Facebook account should not really be treated like a publication, but it's what's happening right now. And I think it's been so sloppy and irresponsible that the people at Facebook and Instagram don't really have a choice but to deplatform these people.
And to your point, Dee, some people, they would immediately knee-jerk to calling this a violation of freedom of speech. But then the question would be, how is it a freedom of speech issue? These are not public companies. These are private companies. These are companies that have set guidelines that a user agrees to before they're allowed to use the platform. This is not a government censoring speech. It is a private company regulating how it is used. What do you say to that, Steve?
Well, they fall under government control in certain aspects.
Hang on, real quick. So one thing, no, they won't build their own platforms. They go out in a march, like in Charlottesville. And then someone else shows up on the other side. And people bring urine balloons, the other people bring sticks, the other people bring rocks, some people bring guns, another people brings a car, and then people die. So you deplatforming people they don't go out and create new websites and new platforms. They go out in the street and they yell and they scream, they get angry, and you get angry and then in the fight. So I disagree with him. And I disagree with the other guy too, because you don't just let it run rampant though. Like I was sitting here thinking for a minute. You can address these things easily, right? Because the answer to hate speech is more speech. But the problem is the people with the more speech usually don't know that the hate speech is there. Usually the fools see the hate speech. And when they see the hate speech, they hit it with their hate speech and it kind of escalates into this crazy thing. One thing Facebook y'all can do if y'all watching me right now, one thing y'all could do is y'all could have like topics. Who's interested in what? Right? And find moderates on these topics. And when hate speech crops up, you have the moderates flock to it. You know, the people who actually know how to talk to the white nationalists the people who know how to talk to the black nationalists, not spur them on and turn into this hate comment section angry thing for the reason I don't never look at a YouTube comment section ever. Ever. I look at Facebook comment sections all day. I don't ever go to a YouTube because it's like this escalating ignorance, you know, but there are a lot of good solutions. No one deploys them. The answer isn't always turning things off. I think the answer is sometimes you turn it up. You make it more vocal. You don't shadow ban it. You promote it. And the more people come in and the more ideas that kind of pile on that's not hate-based, that's not escalating, the more it de-escalates.
They could be considered, certain agencies have control and oversight over what's on the internet. And I think that they're going to find themselves, again, the president, we should point out that there's a lawsuit filed by the administration today against Facebook. And Facebook says they're shocked because they settled this with the ACLU, where they were allowing, you talk about racism and whatnot, they were allowing people who were putting up apartments for rent and housing for purchase or rent to target their audience based on race, gender, you know, incredible ethnicity, incredible stuff. And Facebook says, oh, we didn't know we were doing that. Facebook and the other platforms are getting away with really bad stuff, and in censoring certain groups of people, they do have to be held accountable, and I believe one day the government will hold them accountable.
What do you say to that, Dee?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, again, when you get into the whole argument of white supremacy and what Facebook is doing and some of the rhetoric or some of the things that happen as a result of Facebook, it's easy to advocate for how wrong it can be to silence people, but at the end of the day, it's all fine and good until your child gets killed. Then it's like, oh my God, why were they allowed to do this on Facebook? So I think it's a huge step in the right direction, but I also think that as a country and as people, we need to work harder at getting rid of where the root of this hate comes from if we ever want to truly solve the problem.
Now this new...
Absolutely, absolutely. Not what you said, not the first sentence was bull, all that was bullshit, but what he said in the end. But what is getting at the root? If you're not allowed to make up the root, what the root is, and you listen to neuroscientists and behavioral scientists, they'll tell you the root. The root is poverty. And what he said was true too as well. Nobody cares until it's your kid. And that's how it works. Nobody cares until it's your kid in Yemen being starved by Democrats and Republicans, fighting over hate speech. Nobody cares until, because your kid's not in Yemen. That's why you can be over here fighting over some silly hate speech. Or one kid dying versus 85,000. Kids are dying right now. They're being starved right now by the tax dollars that are paying for all of this nonsense. But he's right about the root. But you gotta listen to the professionals about the root is. Don't listen to the Democrats. Don't listen to the Republicans. The root comes from professionals, neuroscientists and behavioral scientists. Poverty is the birth of all hate. And we live in a time where poverty is completely artificial 100%.
News about Facebook and Instagram, it comes just as an executive at Twitter says their platform is planning to label tweets from Trump and other politicians that violate their user policies. So is this not just isolated to Facebook or Instagram? Is this the future of social media? Steve?
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing this. They've been kicking people off. You know, Keith Olbermann, who got hired by Friendly Disney, used to tweet out every day, F Trump, with saying the whole word in his tweets, and he never got banned. And then you have conservatives who do very innocuous things by comparison, and they disappear. So they've been doing this, and they're going to continue to do this. Again, we have a feckless government when it comes to regulating these people and taking into account or calling into account the censorship against conservative groups. Now, look, I hope they're banning radical Islamic fundamentalist messages and places for people to congregate on Facebook as well, not just white nationalists. We need to go after all of terrorism, not just one part.
What are your...
I gotta jump in there. See, now this is where he's wrong too. Because why do you have ISIS and Muslim hate speech and terrorism? It's because the Republicans and Democrats went to their countries and destroyed their countries, and people don't tend to like that kind of thing. They don't tend to like tanks and bombs and people to show up with guns. It tends to make them a little moody. It tends to give them a little bit of an attitude on social media. It tends to make them want to recruit other people to get on their side to try to fight for their homeland. People don't like that colonization thing too much. You know, so, but this is the thing, it's like you shouldn't be banning any of this. You shouldn't be regulating any of it. Because the only way I know that you went to their countries and destroyed the Middle East and stole their land and their resources and put sellout dictatorships over the people that terrorize them, it's because of those terrorists, so-called terrorists, on social media having a voice saying, look, we're just trying to live, leave us the hell alone. It was because of the bombers, right? Like we talk about the ladies who put on the bombs and they go to the markets and blow themselves up. He said, oh, we don't want to see that. We don't want to know. Like, no, we need to see that. That was a text message. That was an email. That was a cry out that I would rather die and all my children die than live under this Republican, Democrat, British, German oppression where they're over here murdering us, killing us, and empowering rape gangs and child pedophilia and all that nonsense. You need to know people's pains or you can't solve them. As a society, we need to hear everything. It's the only way we fix it. Otherwise, you get into this contest and escalation. Silence this person, silence that group, silence that group, silence that group, silence that group. And you have this false simulation world. You have a false narrative for a world because you have so many phony blocks onto real experiences that people are having and real emotion that we all need to hear.
Your thoughts on that, D?
I think white nationalists they commit the most crimes. They're murdering the most people. They're murdering the most people. Every time you turn around and you see these shootings, it's always some frustrated white person. It's not some, it's true.
Wait a minute. He's about to say something true. Hold on. The other guy.
It's true. We don't live in the Middle East. We live in America. We live in America, the home of Dylan Roof. We don't live in the Middle East.
Here, and there are reports that show that just last year, white supremacists.
Was that just black nationalism? I'm sorry. Well, wait a minute. Oh, hey, no, see, this is That's why I want to like vomit like it's Oprah. Oh, I'm starting to feel a little sick, a little queasy. The Middle East, because we live in America. See, brother, I was with you 80% of the way. You lost me there. You completely lost me there. This is this U.S. lives matter and nobody else does. This is dangerous. This is what I stepped in. I was in the garden the other day. Actually, I was on social media. I stepped in it. I was having this conversation. We were talking about all the kids we're murdering around the world. And he said, well, that's their problem. Let's focus on the blacks in America. I'm like, really? Do you have any idea how racist you sound right now? You know how nationalist you sound? You know, you were fighting white nationalists just last week, nationalism, and now you showing your own nationalism. This is what I'm saying. I see hypocrisy everywhere. And it's not this is a bad guy. I don't think this is a bad guy. I think that we all misspeak. We all are only exposed to a certain level of information. I misspeak. I change my mind on things when I'm exposed to other data. So you want to talk to a wide, diverse people as possible, but there's one thing I will never do. I will never put an American life before a life anywhere else. I'll never do that. I'll never. An injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Chris Gardner. It doesn't matter if it's Lavoy Finnecom, Ruby Ridge, Khalif Browder, all these children in Yemen, kids in Africa, people in Latin America, Venezuela. That's all my family. Just because they were born in one location, I refuse to let you tell me that I need to put that person before I put somebody else. You shouldn't be killing nobody. Because what these are hypocritical agreements. Bigoted agreements on whose life matters more. And are we just in this spot now where we're trying to figure this nonsense out about Black Lives Matter and White Lives Matter? But American lives always matter more. And I always see that hypocrisy. I always see it, and it's sick. It's sick, and I don't think we see it. I probably used to be him to a degree. To a degree, I probably used to be him. But you got to watch out for that.
Supremacists did carry out the most hate crimes in this country. I want to jump to my next question here. What are the political implications of this, Steve, where Representative Devin Nunes has filed a lawsuit against Twitter, claiming in part that it censors conservative voices? Will this become a political issue as 2020 heats up, much like the NFL protests and other issues?
I hope it certainly does. I hope they organize. Republicans are the worst. The elected Republicans are the worst at getting messages out. That's why Donald Trump was so refreshing to Republicans and to America. He says what's on his mind. We need a list. We need a list of all the banned and censored conservative people and groups that have been kicked off or penalized in one way by all the social media, and then a list of the liberal left-wing ones. And you'll see the difference. And people should be outraged. And to the other point, New Zealand wasn't in this country, yet it rightfully brought...
All right, before he goes on, I'd agree with that. Only if we also can have the list of suppressed Muslim voices, suppressed Islamic voices, the suppressed groups over there. If we can, because I don't know, maybe I'm starting to see something, might just be me, but didn't this start with like banning Al-Qaeda and ISIS and terrorism and Muslimism? Like, didn't it start with these conservative people? And I hate the word conservative because you're not conservative in terms of a religious, biblical sense. You're conservative in terms of political nonsense and bunk and tribalism. But didn't it start with them banning like Muslim speeches? Like, hadn't that been a thing since Bush where they're banning those voices? So I disagree with everybody in it, but I think that we're not looking back at the beginning of being able to censor it. Because why they ban the Muslim voices? Because they wanted to go kill more of them. Why they ban Islamic voices? They wanted to go murder more of them. They didn't want you knowing that they had a plight. They wanted you to think that you were the only intelligent life on earth. You were the only life that mattered. This is why I say there's no difference between the Republicans and Democrats. They're all the same. They're all the same. They have a choice of people who they think are more humanish than somebody else. And they want you to go along with their indifference and apathy to another community. And so I'm okay. This is why I'm saying MySpace. Open everything up. MySpace had it right. Brother Tom, bring Brother Tom back. I love Tom to death. Just bring it back. Let everybody speak and let it sort itself out.
Brought up this whole debate. So just to say that Christians are being killed all over the world, not here, I don't think that that's an excuse by any means.
Yeah, New Zealand didn't take place here, but other issues have. Dee, if conservatives push too hard against this or against these platforms working to regulate hate speech, do they run the risk of drawing a correlation between conservative values and white supremacy?
You know, I don't think all conservatives are racist. I don't think all Republicans are racist. But if you are a racist, more than likely, you're probably a Republican. So at the end, again, so if you really, really, really want to change these issues.
Oh, wait. Somebody else said that. It was really funny the other way. How'd they say it the other way? Where'd that came from? That came from somebody who said that Donald Trump quote. Something about, I don't know if Donald Trump is racist, but all racists voted for Donald Trump. I think we just dealt with that. So you can't be a hypocrite. You can't be a hypocrite. Did I say hypocrite? I said hypocrite. Like a Democrat. You can't be that. You just a minute ago said you don't give a damn about the children in other nations. You only care about American, and because you want to. So I can't go along with that at all. You know, if you are a Democrat or a Republican, the leadership, the GNP and DNC, whatever, they use race as a tool. They use nationalism, both of them, as a tool to make you stupid so they can go murder other people and make money. They use it as a tool so they can stay in an oligarchy, so they can take money from Big Pharma. They use it as a tool so they can take money from the military-industrial complex. There is no one side is more racist than the other. Racism is just a tool for the special people who don't realize that they're being played. They use it as a tool because it works. At the top, oligarchy doesn't care nothing about your race, your religion. They only care about your emotions. If they can use that to play you, they will play you so they can get that money. That's what it's always about. It's always about money. Follow the money.
Then the people who get highlighted, the Rush Limbaughs and the Alex Jones screaming at the camera, like when you highlight these people and these people represent your movement and you don't check them or you don't step up and talk about how wrong some of the things are that they say, then you run the risk of being the person who's okay with that, and we're going to think that their views represent you as well. So again, I'm still talking. I'm not in it. Yeah, I don't try to put people in a box. I
got the pause button. I can stop you if I want to stop. I'm sorry, I love it. He's funny. I'm still talking. All right. So, but the thing is, this is what I'm saying. I see a conflict in messages, and I don't think it's like linking together right now some people's brains. He basically said that, yeah, but, so if you let the Alex Jones and the other people speak, then you can address that speech. And that's the right thing. But we began this on silencing them. Let them speak. It's important that people hear them speak. Alex Jones is right 32.8% of the time, brother. He done got a bunch of stuff right. The rest of the stuff is just shock jock bunk. And the great thing is when you let it come out, we can talk about it. It's like the UFO video we started this on. If you show the UFO, we can look at it. And somebody might say, oh, you know what? That looked like a UFO. The aliens are here. And somebody else says, you know what? No, that's a string. That's how we solve these things. But again, I think he looks like he's a young brother and stuff. And young people, you know, we breed them a certain way, and environment and experience forms it. But that's why these discussions are important. But also the willingness to be able to say that you're wrong. And I see both of them as usual. I see both of them as wrong. I see it as a guided conversation. We shouldn't be banning anybody, period. Not Republican, not Democrat, not conservative, not Muslim, not Christian, we shouldn't be banning anybody, not Palestinian, Brother Kelly brought that up earlier, not Jewish. Let everybody talk, because that's what's happening right now too with the Zionists. The Zionists are suppressing the Jewish voice. They don't want the Jews who are talking about the Torah that are in the street protesting all the time. They don't want y'all to see them. Because they tell you that you're an anti-Semite while they're actually oppressing the Jews in Israel.
No, I never saw you in my life. I don't know how you feel. I would like to imagine that you're enjoying your Thursday with two black people and that you're not a racist person. But again, with the rhetoric that comes out.
You just slipped it right in there, didn't you? Just slipped it right in. No Vaseline and that. Just slipped it right in. First, everybody's racist. I'm sorry. I live in America. Everybody's racist. Our minds are based in generalities. We are raised to be generalists. Everything makes it generalized, which is the same reason, again, just a minute ago, you said American lives matter more than everybody else's lives.
It just happens, and we could all do better. As people, we could all do better.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to cut in here. I'm going to have to end this. That's it for time. Thank you so much, Steve Malzberg and Dee Watkins.
That was hard to swallow that.
Thank you.
I appreciate the conversation. I'm not mad at either one of them. I think that both of these men are everything I come to expect from the society in America. Raising people to be tribal and fight and not see another perspective. You know, but that's why they put people in these discussions on opposite tribal extremes and not people with what I think is just common sense and just like, well, wait a minute, you're all saying the same. Well, you all want to get to the same place. You just debate on how to get there. And I don't believe on debating how to get there. Just look at what people have in common. Let me look at the comments and I'm going to get rolling. I meant to try to get out of here early. I got a lot of work to do. It's Friday. I got things to do. I'm going to look at the comments and we are going to roll. How far back can I go? Right there. There we go. All right, I just went back to Anna's comment. I can't say that. I don't cuss. I'm sorry. Fudge book. All right. Don't people always advertise to a target audience? Yes, they always do. And I'm fine with that, Kelly. Like, that's exactly what they were doing. Facebook does it because that's their business. They're supposed to advertise to a targeted audience. But they can also use those tools in that software because the programs are there, the functions are there to make hate speech a thing that gets challenged by other people. You know, they can use their likes and all of their algorithms to take people who are more moderate to kind of help and calm things down if they wanted to. Like I said, Facebook can save the world, y'all. Facebook absolutely can save the world, or it can destroy the world. It can reduce tribalism. It can bring us to this one world, earth, human unorder. I was gonna say order, but I'm not say order, because you say order, you're always somebody. I don't want nobody at the top. I don't think anybody has a right to govern you, and I don't want anybody governing me. But Facebook can do that. It's like a tool, like everything else, like automation. It's a tool. You can use it to help, or you can use it to hurt. People still debate whether or not we're losing the jobs to robots. People still debate like robots ain't taking my job. And I used to laugh at that because I'm in the industry. I used to be in the industry. We sit back and laugh like they don't think we can take their job. That's the funniest thing coming. You know, the interesting thing about the robots coming down, automation, they're not going for the blue collar jobs no more. They're sick of that. Because we couldn't make a lot of money taking the blue collar job. Because we had to use the mechanics for the heavy lifting and getting rid of the labor jobs. But now you have learning software. We can write software to get rid of the white collar jobs. And what happens is big corporations pay bigger money for software that gets rid of the white collar jobs than the blue collar. Why? Because in the white collar, you make $200,000 a year. And if I can get rid of 50 of y'all, then my software, they'll pay more for my software than getting rid of a couple blue collar jobs that pay $50,000 a year. And that's how that works. So now the white collar is going to start to feel the pain a blue collar does. And that's because the advent, the invention of learning software and it being open source and becoming prolifically used. Software engineers, they like to eat too. We like to eat Hot Pockets and put pizza in the oven. We get more pizza and Hot Pockets if we write software to get rid of the white collar jobs, the job that you went to college and studied for 6 years to get a job, got all these degrees, LMNOPs, PhDs and all that. And these are the jobs that are being automated out now. So now you're going to feel the pain that the blue collar felt. That's why I say we need an Earth model. We need a whole new model. A model that's not based in human labor. We got big changes to make. I mean, like I posted the other day, I think it's a smart person that looks at where automation and robots is coming and it's a job that's kind of difficult at the moment for automation to do. It's a wise person that grows up and looks at the big picture and says, we need to change the model of the world. Because even if I have a job when the robots and automation come, it's going to be a lot of poor people who don't. And they're going to want what's in my fridge. They're going to want what's in my children's belly. They're going to want my car. They're going to want things in my house, and they're going to come get it. And they're going to become white nationalists, and black nationalists, Hispanic nationalists, Venezuelan nationalists, Mexican nationalists, who are the worst in the world right now to me, which is the American nationalists. And they'll be willing to murder to survive. We can fix the world, or we can keep it jacked up as it is, or keep pushing it down this wrong path. Nobody cares until it happens to their circle. Exactly, Cheryl. That's why everybody needs to open up their circle. Remember, we're all family. The worldwide. That's the one thing they don't want you to realize is that we are all related. We're all cousins. Even related to that mushroom on Mars. Of course, radical Muslim. Don't look at us. Zionists. No, if we do, it's okay. Right, Kelly, because we're that's that simulation crap. That's that narrative stuff that they give us. Oh crap, I feel your lifetime ban coming up. And no, I'm not a Nazi. Yeah, Daniel. And most of my friends, they go to Facebook jail all the time. Like, oh, you go back to jail? I see people pop in, pop out. Where you at? I was in Facebook jail. Yeah, okay. You must be saying something true. That's how it works. You say something true. But as long as you say things where you're lining up with the mainstream, you're good to go. All right, let me put that. White nationalism is overrated. Big time, Ivana. Big time. White nationalism is so overrated. But it's emotional. And as long as it's emotional, you can get people to fight and be really stupid over it. And that's what happens. You know, that's why the news is so dangerous, and having a mainstream media is horribly, horribly dangerous for society. Because you tell people what to be upset with instead of them looking at the real world, their real lives, and determining what they need to be upset with. They don't look what's outside their window, what's at work, whatever. And if they're seeing an apocalypse of white nationalism, and most people haven't seen any of it, or black nationalism. Most times I look out the window, I see people getting along. I see people helping old people across the street, and I see kids being good, and I see all of this great stuff. But you watch the news, it taps into your anger and your angst because they put your pride in a skin color. And that's what's dangerous. A skin color that doesn't even exist. It's not related to anything but solar energy. Your auntie wore a certain perfume. Your auntie slapped you across the face often. You meet a person that you instantly dislike. She's wearing that perfume as your wicked auntie. Yes, Rebecca. And it actually is that simple. It literally is that simple. And you can fix that. Because if that lady is nice to you and spend time around her, you smell that perfume, then you think nice things. Same exact opposite way. You know, women wear perfume and somebody else walks by and that was like somebody you missed or something. you start thinking about memories, and you start thinking, hey, that man is that man and the woman is that woman. It's like, because your brain does that. And no, it's not. No, it's not. But that's what the human brain does. And so they use our DNA and they use our experiences against us, and they get a whole other group of people to fight you because of that, instead of doing what Martin Luther King said, which is you cure hate with love. Doesn't Palestine count, Brother Kelly asked? Absolutely not. Because they don't want it to. Palestine lives don't matter at all. When I pray for our innocent, it is for all worldwide. And it should be, Brother Daniel, because we're all cousins all over this planet. Absolutely. It's been here since the country started. It has, and it always will be. As long as these tribal things, these emotions, these childish, immature emotions are powerful, and you can get people in the street marching, you can get them to fight other poor people instead of help other poor people, they'll do it. And this is why I always go back to robots and automation, because we have an oligarchy. At the end of the day, the Democrats and the Republicans want to take money from big corporations. They want to keep the oligarchy in place, take all the jobs, and give you whatever's left over. They want the big piece of the pie, and they want to give everybody little chicken bones. They're not fighting white nationalism. They're not fighting black nationalism. They're fighting human nationalism. Is that a word? They're an oligarchy. That's why I keep saying, just focus on the fact that you got an oligarchy. They're trying to keep you opposed to other people while they give all your jobs to big corporations, because the big corporations pay them to do that. It really is that simple. I also get upset, though, that Israeli lives are seen as more important than American lives. That's messed up, that we can take care of their health but not our own. Isn't that crazy, Max? That's insane. They're willing to let American children starve, and it's not the fact that they're American children, it's the people next door. They're willing to let them starve to send $38 billion to Israel so they can change the chlorine in their swimming pools. It's just insane. It's insane. But that's the mind of the slave, Max. That's the mind of the slave. When you can convince people to believe in their kings and lords, you can get them to hate themselves and beat their neighbors with pain sticks to give something to a better people, a chosen people, a people that are actually in defiance to the God of the Torah. But people don't like to read those things, so. But it's a sick mindset. Slaves will turn on themselves. They will beat themselves all day long for their master, whatever their master wants. And right now, the master that's paying the bills happens to be Israel. And Trump just broke bread with. Oh yeah, right. Well, Daniel, they said he was the belle of the ball. He went to IPAC. They wasn't fighting white nationalism then. You had the black Democrats and the Republicans. Everybody get together, smooching and stuff. And they all friends when it came to IPAC, weren't they? It wasn't Trump wasn't no racist then. At that point in time, like, no, Trump is working with IPAC and helping bring all that money to the Democrats too. He's doing the things that we can't get away with doing. That's why I think it's all a narrative. It's all a show. I don't believe none of it. I lived through censorship before. I never thought I would have to live through it again. Yes, Ivana, unfortunately, welcome to America. Americans are just going that path. We have not figured it out. It does not hurt enough yet. When it hurts enough, then we'll change. It's way out of control, Anna. Yes. Hypocrite, haha, Freudian slip. it was kind of a slip. I don't know, Sharon. I think a part of my brain like spit it out. It was in there anyway. Let me see. The Jussie case illustrates rich privilege perfectly, and this is a class of conflict, not a racial one. Exactly. It's always about class. It's always about class. And he didn't get away with it just because he didn't get it signed off quick enough. If he got it signed off by the right people, he'd have got away with it. You know, but I'm still in the free Jussie camp, though. I think if the Democrats and Republicans and the oligarchs, they can all lie and do false flags and narratives and pull us into false wars. I think Jussie, I don't think he should be in prison. I think didn't he get his butt kicked? I still don't know the details of that. I just think it's, you know, when poor people lie, if wealthy people can lie and get away with it on Wall Street with politicians, then I think poor people should be able to. And I think he's in that middle. He's in that entertainment class. I thought it was more funny than anything else. Let me see. Awakened Americans are aware that our country has been hijacked, that we are anything but free. Mark Twain said it best, that it's easier to fool people. It's easier to fool people than to convince them they have been fooled. Absolutely. Patty, thank you for that. Mark Twain said a whole bunch of great things, and not like the modern Mark Twain that looks like John Bolton Mark Twain, but the real Mark Twain. It is easier to fool people, and they fooled us. And I don't blame them. Actually, that's the only difference with me, Patty, is I don't blame them. I don't blame the elite for fooling us. I don't blame the DNC and GOP for lying, because it works. If people are foolable, they will be fooled. And I think everything in life is a learning lesson. You can be fooled by this if you fall into this white nationalism, fight this group, fight that group, ignore the other people. If we aren't sentient enough to stand up for human life everywhere, to stand up for justice everywhere, then they're supposed to fool us. And I think that's how we learn. They fool us till a lot of us get killed, and then we grow up. And unfortunately, that's how we've been maturing over time. We haven't seemed to be able to create enough sentient human beings yet, and mature enough to get it, to be able to look past their birth. Everyone's locked up in their birth bigotries. Let me get down. Let's get out of here. As the stomach churns. Victorious a mess. Empathy or trauma builder is Facebook. Absolutely. We can do so much with Facebook, Mark, if we wanted to, if they wanted to. But I think now the Global Alliance has it, so I don't think that that's going to happen. They're going to keep people dividing up and fighting over little things while they murder people for the big things. I'm not saying there's a need for governing, but society without rules would be in a chaos. It would, Ivana, just like a family. It's like a marriage. It's chaos. There are no rules. But when you love each other, you take care of each other. I think that when people have their needs, they get along. I think there's need for some sort of basic rules, but not a government. Some sort, I believe in a facilitatement, right? Basic rules based in what the aliens told us. The aliens that started all the religions. Take care of people, look out for people, don't abuse people, and then go live your life. I don't think we need any laws any more than that. You know, you kill, you murder, you rape, you start a war, you steal, you rob, you got problems. And we're going to take care of you. Short of that, you go live your life. And I think that's what kids, every child should have. Every person all around this world should just be out there living their life. They don't need a government to tell them what plants they can't grow, when they got to inject some vaccine, what they can't do with the car, when they can't do it, blah, blah. Like, we've gone way too far. We aren't problem solvers. We make money from the problems, and that's what an oligarchy does. It looks at a problem and it figures out how to make money from it. They give it to a corporation, they take their right, and then that problem becomes prolific. Why? Because the industry that makes money from the law they wrote, they want the problem to get worse because they make money on the problem. And that's just how it all works. It's a really sick system that we have, oligarchy. Build bridges, not walls. Absolutely. We don't need any more walls. We need bridges between people, big time. We all like to post Martin Luther King every time his birthday comes around, but very few people actually live it. Very few people actually believe in it. And they're clapping and they're cheering for the politicians because they got black skin and not because they actually believe and are living and speaking to that. They're speaking to that hate and fighting hate with hate. Control your emotions, stay balanced. Yes, Anna. And I get it when people don't, though, Anna. I get it when people, because, you know, I have emotional privileges. Like, I have emotional privileges. You know, I have the particular experiences in life where I'm not emotionally excitable, right? I look at the hypocrisy in different things, and I didn't have as bad as many people do. So I get the emotions. I appreciate people who are trying to come out of it, but I also understand, like, if you were born in a bad spot, yeah, you're going to be highly emotional. And it's just those of us who evolve out of it. You know, you really got to be accountable to evolve out of it and start pulling people back from emotional discussion back to intellectual discussion based on facts and data. Nazi Germany didn't start with camps and gas chambers. They take away rights a little at a time. And when a society is at its weakest, they attack. Yes, they do, Susan. In fact, they voted for Nazi Germany. It was no different. They voted, cheered, had signs and bumper stickers, and then it got to the place where it got to. We go down these unwise paths. We don't have enough philosophers pulling us back, and we end up in a really, really bad spot. And then people are like, well, how did we get here? You were fighting hate with hate. And that actually is the story of World War I and II, but a lot of people don't know the real history of World War I. They know the ending, and they know what the privileged people who won the war, they know the way they drew it up, but they don't really know the beginnings. And it did begin with hate fighting hate. And it ain't great. And that's how we ended up where we are. White nationalism is propaganda, just like anti-Semitism. Oh, don't you dare hang out with someone smeared as either. Sorry, I will choose them on purpose. Ask them what they truly believe as opposed to what the propagandists say about them. Exactly. And as we know, Deborah, that goes back to just go out and talk to people. Whoever you're not supposed to talk to, that's who you need to go talk to. Whoever your group says you need to stay away from, that's who you need to spend most times with, because they're the ones that are they're the ones you're being pitted against. And that creates a sustainable fight. And so they can write a book on how to solve a problem that they helped create, and they keep prolific because they got you out there fighting things instead of trying to resolve problems. We see plenty of video of Israel military thugs beating the hell out of Orthodox Jews who are anti-Zionist. Exactly, Patricia. And you got to look for them to find them, though. And you got to kind of know what's going on to be able to process it. But you don't, most people don't look for it. They don't process it. They're just scared. I don't want to be an anti-Semitist, so I won't say anything about the Zionists murdering people. And people have to do their research and stuff. But they also got to look for it too, right, Patricia? Because a lot of people act like they care. We're great actors. Actors. We like acting. We like to act like we care, but we don't really care. And when you really get into a discussion like the one we just looked at, you start to really see that they don't care. It's a selective care. It's a let's just care about America. Don't call me out on my hypocrisy. Let's just focus on American lives mattering, and to hell with everybody else. And that's why, like I said, I'm not interested at all. I don't want your health care. I don't want your wall. I don't want your anything that you're selling. I don't want your single payer. I don't want your guaranteed job. I don't want your guaranteed income. I don't want anything that anybody has to offer because it's all paid for in murder. Yes, Megs, they are our neighbors, and we got to love our neighbors better. I'm late. The sunrise in Java was amazing this morning. Good morning, Carolyn. All right, let me down so I can get out of here. I disliked Obama. I was a racist. Now if I support Trump, I'm a racist. Can't effing win. Because people believe it, Daniel. People believe that nonsense. Obama, unfortunately, killed way too many people for anyone who disliked him to be called a racist. He killed way too many brown people supporting Saudi Arabia. 85,000. Well, I guess on his watch it was only 70-some thousand, and on Trump's watch it was another 10,000 or so. And those numbers are probably wrong, you know. But it's just a game that they play on people. That's why I don't get into the game. It's stupid. It's just stupid. People need to grow up. Obama was he was a horrible president. He was, I'm sorry. He was a horrible president. I don't think he got to make his own decisions. Like, I don't think Trump gets to make his own, you know, and I think when people really swallow that pill and be honest with themselves, they realize that our presidents don't actually control our country. And then we can actually do something about it. As long as folks are lost in this stuff, then we're gone. Hey, Sister Dee Dee, at Lucas' appointment. Hopefully Lucas is doing good. Always wish well of the kid. Let me find any music. Let's see. Where is the love? There is no hope. For shadows will spring forth the darkness of the night. Brother Preston. There is no love. There is no. Oh, that's the wrong music. Hold on. I'm sorry. I pressed the wrong button. What am I doing? Where there is no love, there is no hope. Absolutely. 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 I got to say that a couple times. Where there is no love, there is no hope. Where there's no love for Venezuela, there's no hope. Where there's no love for Honduras, there's no hope. You know, you might be hoping on a fighting the white privilege. There's no hope. You have no love in you. If you have selective love in you, you have no love. Where there is no love, there's no hope. Where there's no love for poor kids born in the inner city, there is no hope. When there is no love for poor kids born in the trailer park, there is no hope. Where there is no love, there is absolutely no hope because you're a selective sellout hypocrite who is indifferent to human life. For shadows will spring from forth the darkness of night. And it's an evil thing. It is an evil thing, Brother Augustine. It is. It is an evil thing to be selectively loving. Because that's not love. That's hate. That's just, that's burying some of your hate for another group of people that you don't know. Obama Nobel Peace Prize proved that bull. It was bull. It did, Patricia's right away. I don't think was he president before he got it? He didn't do anything. He ain't do nothing. They gave him the I remember that, Patricia. They gave him the Nobel Peace Prize for being black. Or half black, right? They gave him the Nobel Peace Prize because he had a black father and a white mother. That's what he got it for. It's the craziest thing, but that's how people jump right in. They go, he got the Nobel Peace Prize. He gonna be good as Jesus slicing fresh bread. You know, they've already jumped in. He's gonna be a peace president. Meanwhile, he dropped how many bombs? 26,000 bombs or something like that. Bombed more black people than any president on this planet, or more people with brown skin than any president on this planet. And people still believe that he somehow did something good for people. No. And that's why I don't like to get into the names, because the names are meaningless. It's just the administrations. We have an oligarchy. That's the only name that matters. If I were Obama, I'd do the same thing. We have an oligarchy, because if I didn't, they'd murder me and everybody I know and throw us in prison. If I was Trump, I'd do the same exact thing. Why? Because we have an oligarchy. These people only see green. They ain't gonna let my black butt get in the way of it, and they ain't gonna let Trump's butt get in the way of it. They're gonna do what they want to do, and if not, they're gonna send you the way of JFK. And when people really get that, then we got something to work with. We've had the 36th president since the beginning of time. Since JFK was killed, we've had the same president right after him. Why? Because the people, the oligarchy that took him out, they staged line 9/11. I always push back to that same documentary, Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. You go ahead and watch that documentary, and that's the first one I tell people to watch. You want to start to wake up to what's real in the world instead of living these false realities? Watch Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. You watch that, then you'll understand why it's stupid to fight about who's president. Why it's stupid to go and vote another president without changing the model. That every president is going to do the same exact thing, because every president does no damn thing. We don't have presidents. We have an oligarchy and a warm butt sitting in a chair in a face that they can get you to hate or the other side to like, so the corporations continue to roll out automation and robots to steal the future of your children. That's where we are. That's where we are. Just puppets win the office in the end. That's it, Mark. That's all it is. I think elections, all you do is you prove that you can make stupid out of most of the people. If you prove that you can fool the people, if you prove that you can get a big group to hate you and the other side to love you, you can be president. That's all that matters. All that matters is you keep people fighting over absolutely nothing, and you will be the president, the next president of the United States. Presidents are selected, not elected. We have an oligarchy. Focus on the fact that we have an oligarchy, and they mostly all told you it. Like, didn't even Trump said it, Bernie said it, Obama, they all said how corrupt it is. And how did Trump put it in the way he put it? He said, what do politicians do? Politicians are gonna do exactly what I tell them to do. Because when I give them the money, the DNC, because back when he was at the end of DNC, they do exactly what I tell them to do. And that's how it worked then, and that's exactly how it works now. And even, who was the guy who took all that pharmaceutical money and lied about healthcare? The guy from New Jersey, I forgot his name, Booker. He even said it too. They all said it. They all let you know, we got an oligarchy, we got an oligarchy, stop voting for us. And then people run out to the polls and vote for him. And it's crazy, it's crazy. Bernie actually said, he told people not to vote for him. And they went there, he said, if I ever tell you to vote for Hillary Clinton, don't. And they did anyway. Our attention spans, there's something really wrong there. Obama has a kill list and he received the Nobel Peace Prize. I wonder if they're on the same shelf. Ooh. Go on, Susan, I bet you they are. As Obama was in my prayer, my best weapon of mass destruction. Yeah, and we should always pray for the presidents. I pray for all the presidents. I pray for the government. I pray for the future of the human race. We are not going in a great direction. Don't need names because their deeds are always remembered, good or bad. That's it, Carolyn. Absolutely. It's all about the deeds. It's all about what you do, not about what you say. And I have to admit that when I saw that kill list in the NDAA, I remember when that came out and they said he wants a kill list. I was done before that, but when I was like, man, like, how can you kill somebody? Does anybody on here know anybody that killed anybody? Like, do you know anyone that murdered anybody? Would you ever murder anybody? Like, how do you do that and sleep at night? That's what I mean. There's some great forces of evil at work around this world and in our government that we need to stop playing with. Need to stop playing. Need to stop playing. Need to stop playing. Yep, from 9/11 to JFK, everything is a rich man's trick, followed up by all wars are bankers' wars. Absolutely, Patricia, all wars are banker wars. And this is why they always hated the bankers. Because the central bankers are always behind it. And that's why the only two presidents that were ever murdered in the United States were the two presidents that actually fought central banking. All the rest of them went along with it. Otherwise, they'd have been put 6 feet in a hole too. That's why there is no draining of the swamp. They might pull little selective drains here and there, or Obama said it, the way clean up Washington, you might sweep here and might sweep there, but you're not going to sweep nowhere at these central banks to tell you can't, or you will be taken out. That's why we need to focus on the future. You want to fight hate? Fight who controls the robots and the automation. Fight the greed that's coming from that. Fight the fact that when these Americans really start losing their jobs, you ain't seen no hate yet. You think you seen some hate? You ain't seen no hate. I grew up a rock toss from Washington, D.C. You ain't seen no hate till you seen poor people actually try to survive. Then you ain't seen no hate. All right, it's Friday. So we got mushrooms on Mars. Hate ain't great. Fighting hate with hate. Stop doing that nonsense. Always focus on who's killing the most people, and that's the most important. Everybody have a great weekend. We got anybody got a last wise thing? Somebody dig up some wisdom from our past. That's what I like to do. It's important to pull out that wisdom. Some old wise your grandfather said, or your grandmother said, or your parents said, because that's how we move forward. We always have to go back and listen to those wisdoms, because it's those wisdoms that drive us forward, not the modern ignorance and lies in the news. Anybody got something positive, some positive last word we can send everybody away on the weekend from? Have a great weekend, everybody. That kind of works, Mary. You speak the truth, brother. I try, Brother Jed. I do. I try. And I get it wrong sometimes. I get it wrong. I just think that we got to stop fighting each other. We all got to grow up. We got to be better than this. We can build a better world than this, but we got to stop engaging activity that's making things worse, no matter how popular that activity is. 1913, the year of secrecy of the bankers. Absolutely. 1913. Well, it was 1913. What was the other significant, Carolyn? It was 1933, where America was sold out. So you can stop pledging allegiance to the flag. You're only pledging allegiance to big bankers, international bankers that don't even live in America. Our ancestors left behind megaliths, temples, traditions, philosophy. What are we leaving behind for the future generations? Susan, we're leaving killer robots. We're leaving killer robots, and we're teaching them to eat candy and to not be able to run and have cardiovascular systems to even run from the damn robots. We're leaving Bayer, Monsanto, and we're leaving Raytheon, we're leaving Lockheed Martin, we're leaving 5G. We're leaving vaccines that nobody's testing anymore, and they test headache medicine. We're leaving a destroyed ecosystem. We're leaving an ocean full of plastic. We are leaving crap for the children, because most people today, they care more about themselves and their kids, and it's really scary. Plastic. No matter where you go, there you are. Brother Cody's gonna leave us off on that one. No matter where you go, there you are. Act like you're there. Act like you're there. Listen, I gotta go. Love y'all to death. This is Gerard. Y'all have a great weekend. I'm out. Bye-bye.